What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? We're just a few minutes behind. My apologies to you all. But welcome to another episode of Scientology Sunday. Y'all, we have some, oh my goodness, some videos to check out here. I want to start with this one. So, shout out to Jenna Miscavige. She is the niece of David Miscavige, who is the current cult leader of Scientology. So, we've been diving into Scientology since the beginning of the year, and I am glad we're taking this turn into this chapter. It is deep, okay? The rabbit hole of Scientology goes deep, but it is definitely worth exploring. Can you all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Hit the phone if you can hear me. Happy Sunday. How you doing? Yeah, I don't know why my mic just went on mute. Okay, cool. Y'all can hear me. What's going on, Melodic? Is it Karma? How you doing? Melinda, what's happening, honey? Let's see. Poetry Princess up in here, CC up in here. Y'all can hear me. Okay, cool. Shout out to all of you all. Y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all, we got to listen. Hi, Cheryl. How you doing? How's our LLC baby? Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have got to watch this video. I cannot believe it. 2 people have been arrested. We're diving into this. Okay. My new favorite channel. Oh, thank you. Y'all, I'm so excited. We got to dive into this. Scientology is a wormhole upon itself. But man, to see Aaron win big in court, and then to hear that 2 hitmen have been arrested. Can you believe this? Oh my God. I couldn't be more excited. I'm so glad we diving into Scientology. It's a wormhole, but we're going there. And we're going to keep going in and exploring. Kayla, how you doing, honey? Kayla, 2 people got arrested. We are here for this. It's like the government, the law enforcement, the court system, they're finally fighting back. We don't let cults overrun our country. We don't do that. Cults don't run the United States of America. Why should a cult overtake our country and our government, our law enforcement, our judicial branch of government? No. And people are starting to push back against Scientology. So let's find out why, y'all. Oh, Kyla said, wait until you see why. Oh my God, I'm so here for it. I have resisted the urge to not watch this without you all. We're here for this. Let's get into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's start with that. Hit that like button for me. Because 2 hitmen have been arrested. So hit that like button. Hit that like button and drop a heart in the chat when you have done so. I am so ready to get into this. I'm trying to get some music going. Okay, cool. Y'all ready? We're going to get into this. Let's go. This is from Jenna Miscavige's channel. She is the niece of David Miscavige, who is the current CEO of leader of this cult. And I am so ready. Oh my God. Candice, when you going to come out and say you joined Scientology? Because you know you're not a Catholic. All right, y'all, let's go. Put a 1 in the chat where you can see it here.
I'm Jenna Miscavige. I was born and raised in Scientology. I left when I was 21 years old and wrote a book about it. My uncle, David Miscavige, is a leader of Scientology. And this is my YouTube channel. When my grandfather, Ron Miscavige, escaped from Scientology, he moved to West Allis, Wisconsin. My uncle, David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, hired 2 private investigators to follow my grandpa at all times. After following my grandpa for 18 months, the 2 PIs were arrested because the police suspected them of being hitmen. This is the never-before-heard audio of the police interrogation. My grandfather passed away a few years ago, as did his wife, Becky, who escaped with him. Before she died, she sent me this recording.
In talking to your father, basically he's working this case you guys are working on. And in doing so, ended up prowling. Somebody called police on him. He gets arrested. We've been talking. He's laid out a lot of details to us about what he's doing, why, for who.
He's not laying any details out about anything he's doing, for who, or why. Confidentiality agreement, he breaks that confidentiality agreement, we get sued. I'm not going to give you any details on that either.
Well,
we can go get your father, and he'll explain to you what he's told us.
Okay, then I want to talk to my dad.
well,
Okay, hold on.
first of all,
Pause. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not confused. 2 PIs were arrested because the police suspected them of being hitmen. I'm hearing one say my dad. Okay, so are they father-son hitmen? Are they father-son PIs? Shell said 2 PIs previously watched run. Hey, Saint, how you doing, honey? Y'all, shout out to my mom. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to all of you all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Okay, 2 PIs previously watched Ron collapse, called DM. DM said, let him die? What? Okay, yes. So they're father and son. So that's why he keeps saying, get my dad. Because I'm like, wait. So the PIs are father-son. And she said that these 2 PIs have been watching her grandfather. Yeah, her grandfather. Wouldn't that be the father of David Miscavige? Or her grandfather on her mother's side? How's she relate? Okay, she's the niece of David Miscavige, meaning her mother is his sister. I'm just trying to follow this correctly. So the father, David Miscavige, and Jenna's mother are sister and brother. Am I getting that right? And that's how she's his niece from her mother's side. David's dad. So this is David's own father. He said PIs after his own dad? Are you kidding? Y'all, this is nuts. David Miscavige sent 2 PIs after his own father? What? This dude is sick. Y'all, this is why you don't let cults run the country or intimidate or bully you. We have armies and militaries. Like, he's not impermeable to a tank. Are you serious? Okay, I had to go back. I had to put that together.
Never before heard audio of the police interrogation. My grandfather passed away a few years ago, as did his wife, Becky, who escaped with him. Before she died, she sent me this recording.
in talking to your father, basically he's working this case you guys are working on. And in doing so, ended up prowling. Somebody called the police on him. He gets arrested. We've been talking. He's laid out a lot of details to us about what he's doing, why, for who.
He's not laying any details out about anything he's doing, for who, or why. Confidentiality agreement, he breaks that confidentiality agreement, we get sued. I'm not going to give you any details on that either.
Well,
we can go get your father, and he'll explain to you what he's told us.
Okay, then I want to talk to my dad.
well, first of all, slow yourself down. You're not calling shit here, okay?
Nobody will tell me what's going on.
Well, here's the thing. You're not just going to walk in here and get information and walk away happy. That's not how it works, okay? Yes, we know what your dad is working on.
Who's he working for?
Church of Scientology through another private investigation firm who was retained by an attorney who was retained by David.
Okay, well, why can't I talk to him? I've been worried about my dad all day. That's why I'm so upset.
We're in the midst of explaining that to you, okay? But your dad's got a bunch of crap in his car that should have been in his car as well, okay? And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Well, these are things that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
But these are things that basically we're going to have you talk to him briefly, and he can tell you what his wishes are of you. And then we need to sit down and talk. And at the end of that, we'll be able to determine if everything he has told us is truthful. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
I think one of the things that we have to make clear here is your dad may or may not be in trouble right now. We don't know. The police department made contact with him today, and he wasn't cooperative initially, and that's what got him into a little bit of trouble.
What was the contact made for?
That I already explained to you.
Speeding, he was prowling?
Yeah. Okay.
He was found around the property. When he was asked for ID, he wouldn't identify himself.
For
ID, police?
Yes.
for the same reason that you cited when you sat down. Okay, but unfortunately, you guys are being PIs. You guys are kind of in a tricky situation. You know, if the police think something criminal is occurring, then your confidentiality with your clients really doesn't do anything for you. It's part of being a PI and doing what you're doing legally and being secret and not seen. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. We're not the media. We're not tabloid. The information that you give us isn't going to be broadcast anywhere. We have concerns about your mission up here, considering the weapons that we found in your dad's vehicle.
Wait a minute.
Those are not coming. We collect.
They found weapons in their vehicle. What the? Okay, well, they were doing more than just stalking somebody. Which police department arrested them? This is in LA, right? Y'all, this is insane. They were doing more than just following this man. David spent millions on PRs to harass his dad for years. It is insane the money DM spent on this. This is so crazy. Lots of 2A. Hey, CC. Hey, Larry. How you doing? Y'all, 2 private investigators in Scientology were arrested. How old is this? Like, when did this happen? Because Jenna Miscavige said that her grandmother gave her this before she died. So this is just now coming out, but this could have happened. How long ago did this happen? Several years ago. I'm trying to make, is this the same event here? 2 private investigators hired by Scientology leader David Miscavige were arrested in 2013 for conducting extensive surveillance on his father in July 2013. Dwayne S. Powell, 43, and his 21-year-old son, Daniel Powell, were arrested in West Allis, Wisconsin, after local residents reported suspicious activity involving a man in an SUV. Police discovered that Powell had been hired by David Miscavige, the leader of the Church of Scientology, to conduct full-time surveillance on his father, Ronald Miscavige Sr., who had left the church 2 years prior, which would have been in 2011. The investigation revealed that the private investigators were following Ronald everywhere, monitoring his communications, going through his trash, and even attaching a GPS tracking device to his car, which is something they're not permitted to do. PIs are not permitted to do that. They can't just put a tracking device on you. They also carried guns, ammunition, a stun gun, a laptop, and a GPS device, which Powell claimed were for sport shooting purposes. The surveillance reportedly cost $10,000 per week and lasted 18 damn months. The motivation behind the surveillance was to monitor Ronald Miscavige Sr. and his wife, ensuring that they did not disclose information about the church's activities. Why? If you're not doing anything wrong, if you're not a dumb cult that everyone believes you to be, then you shouldn't have to worry about that. They go out of their way to try to debunk people. It's so stupid. $10,000 a week for 18 months, you all. And this is just now coming out. Are they still in jail? I hope so. They had weapons. They were going to do something to him. Oh my God. How you doing, honey? Hey, Miss Kogo. To Science Rabbit Hole. And it's crazy. It is a crazy rabbit hole, y'all. They paid all this money Hi, Mimi. How you doing? Is it Mimi? I don't want to say your name wrong. This is an insane amount of money. Okay. What would the question is, what are you gonna do with all these weapons? Y'all already have so much ammunition, guns, ammunition, a stun gun, a laptop. Is that why the grandfather had a heart attack? Maybe they stunned him. He wasn't wearing like a pacemaker or anything like that, was he? And how old was he with all of this going on? This man couldn't live in peace without being followed and stalked. This is crazy.
I can tell you those are not criminal. We collect.
Okay. And can you see why it might look bad?
Yes.
That
I can
this guy
understand
being
why that
followed
looks bad.
for
I
so
understand why that
long.
looks bad.
And that's what we're looking at from the outside.
We like firearms, and we buy rifles and stuff. We collect them. We shoot them for fun at targets.
What?
The firearms. Let's real quick just talk
That's
about
the
the firearms
dumbest thing
that you know
ever.
that are up here. What firearms did you guys bring in?
I know of a 22 rifle, and I believe there's a 22 assault rifle. I'm not sure what exactly he had. We have multiple firearms. I'm not sure what I have, what he has.
Okay. So you have firearms in your vehicle?
Not in my
right
vehicle.
now? Okay. So there's no firearm in your vehicle right now?
No, I had a 5 there.
Okay. Because he thought you might have a 9mm.
I have a 380
380 where?
in my center console.
Right now.
Yes.
Okay. Is it loaded?
Yes.
Okay.
So you do have a firearm. Yeah, he just asked this idiot, do you have a firearm in your vehicle? He said, no. Then he said, well, I do have a loaded 3.8. It's in my center console right now. So you do have a firearm in your vehicle. A 383. Am I saying it right? 383, 80? Is that it? 380? A 380. Oh my God. Why lie?
Your vehicle right now?
No, I had a 5 there.
Okay.
He said no.
He thought you might have a 9mm.
I have a 380
380 where?
in my center console.
Yeah,
Right
380.
Yes.
Okay. Is it loaded?
Yes.
Okay.
Just lie.
Go ahead and take that or silence it, whatever you need to do. How about the firearms that your dad was traveling with?
As far as I know, the magazines were loaded. They were not loaded in weapons.
Okay. So what firearms do you know that he had?
I know he had a 22 assault rifle.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure he had that. I'm not sure. I don't know which ones he had.
Wow.
Okay. What kind of accessories did he have with that 22 assault rifle?
I don't know.
You remember seeing the white tube? You said that you were familiar with the white tube that he had with that.
No.
You never saw a PVC
oh,
tube?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that?
I don't know. It's just a PVC tube.
He keep lying like it's a lie for me. He doesn't know what a PVC tube is, and he's supposed to be a private investigator. He just lied about having a weapon on in the car, and now he doesn't know what a PVC tube is. I mean, it's just dumb lies. He can't be this stupid. He should be in jail for being an idiot.
As far as I know, I don't know what it does.
Okay. He said you helped him test fire it.
You see that? He lied about it.
What's it designed to do?
Can I talk to my dad?
No.
Not right now. You will be able to in the near future, but what's that designed to do? Okay, this isn't. You're a smart guy. You're a gun.
No, he's an
gun
idiot.
Fan. Everyone who's a gun fan knows what that's designed to do, and that's one of the concerns we have, right?
Mm-hmm. What's it do?
It's meant to suppress sound.
I know it had a big black suppressor on it, but it was a flash suppressor.
Right. What about the white tube? When you fire that, what does it sound like?
Nothing.
Right. Silent.
The one Jimmy made for him in Virginia or Tennessee.
I think it's in Tennessee. Yeah. So that's one of the concerns we have is the silencer.
Okay.
Right?
Wow.
And you heard it fired and it's quiet. Correct?
He had a silencer on this weapon. No, they were up there to take his life. They were up there to take his life. You don't carry, people just don't get silencers like that. And then he wants to play dumb and don't act like he doesn't know what a PVC tube is. Y'all, they were up there to do some damage. This is crazy. Melinda says, why on each would two PIs need all that firepower? Exactly. Many only carry a gun or a taser for their protection. Now, what gun laws did they violate? They have like assault weapons, assault rifles. $760,000 just to these two for following his own father because he didn't want his dad to say what goes on in Scientology. Who gives a crap if it's nothing wrong? Like, you draw more attention to yourself when you go out of your way to try to silence people as opposed to just letting it be. Y'all, this is what cults do. Yep, this is a cult of Scientology. This was what cults do. The son is an idiot. The son is dumb. NDAs don't count when you're breaking the law. Exactly. You can't say I have an NDA, but I get to commit crimes. No, you don't. It's just so ridiculous. He had a silencer, you all. Keep that in mind. And a PVC too.
One Jimmy made for him in Virginia or Tennessee?
I think it's in Tennessee, So that's one of the concerns we have is the silencer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big concern.
And you heard it fired and it's quiet, correct? So that's, so we have guys following, no guy around with an
assault rifle with a
silencer. The one guy.
Y'all, how in the world did they manage to even do it for as long as they did? 18 months? They followed him for 18 months? 18 months. $10,000 per week for 18 months. A year and a half. And he wants to act like he doesn't know what a PVC tube is. And he's 21 years old. So the fact that he keeps asking for his dad at 21 years old, something is wrong with this boy. He's not fit to be amongst humanity at all. He should be locked away. You're 21 years old. Your dad is not, he doesn't have to be in there. You're a grown man in an interrogation. They don't have to go get your parents and you're 21. At 18, that's it. You legal. You're an adult. So unless his dad was his attorney, no. That's why I told him no, not right now. You can't make this up.
I know he's being followed. That's why we're concerned.
Okay.
And from the outside looking in, since we get involved with this where we encounter your father who isn't cooperative because of his confidentiality concerns.
Oh my
so
God.
We have what we believe to be an uncooperative person whose car we then look in and see what his car looks like, which he said you have used his car too,
oh my
so you know what the inside of the car looks like. So from the outside looking in, not knowing you guys or not knowing anything else, before we talk to anyone, what do we have?
It's a noise suppressor. We built it for fun to see what it would do. We saw how to do it. The guy helped us do it.
That's a damn
It's not for anything that y'all think we're using it for. We built it for fun in Tennessee when we were shooting because we thought it would be cool.
He lying.
So take me through how it was made, the internal.
I'm not sure how it all went together. It was some guy helped us do it.
Okay. Jimmy?
Is it washers? What are the baffling look like inside? Did Jimmy have one and you guys asked, can you help us make one of those, or how did that come about?
Yeah.
And how many times have you fired it?
I don't know exactly.
And when it's fired, does it make just a little air sound? Or is it
No, you can still hear it. It's not like a silencer where there's no noise.
There's still a little bit of
There's still noise. It's not like a
quiet that much.
Does it still throw flames out the front of the tube?
No, that's what the big black flash suppressor is.
Right. But to use this white one, you have to unscrew the black flash suppressor.
Or does it go over the white one or the black one?
Okay, y'all know what a black flash suppressor is. I'm not savvy on all these weapons. They were out there to take that man's life. That's what they were trying to do. What's it called? A black flash suppressor? They were out there to take his life. Black flash hiders is what I'm seeing. I'm trying to look it up right quick as they talk about it, but I have no idea what that is. Is this for the gun itself or bullets? What is this? Isn't that a silencer? Is it a type of silencer? I have no idea. A black flash suppressor. Does it still throw flames out the front? What? Okay, maybe it's a type of suppressor on the actual rifle itself. I have no idea.
No, you can still hear it. It's not like a silencer where there's no noise.
Okay. There's still a little bit of
There's still noise.
Oh, okay, so it goes on the gun.
It's not like a
quieted that much.
Okay, so Fox says this you will not see the flash from the gun when fired. So it's a type of silencer that keeps the flash. So you wouldn't see it and you wouldn't hear it. Oh wow. Oh yeah, they were out there to take this guy's life.
Does it still throw flames out the front of the
No,
tube?
that's what the big black flash suppressor is.
Right, but to use this white one, you have to unscrew the black flash suppressor.
Or does it go over the white one or the black one?
It didn't fit. You know.
Does the white PVC go
No,
over?
it doesn't go over it.
So you just take
It goes over the barrel.
Okay.
And besides making it quiet, does it kill the flash as well?
No, not without the flash suppressor on it.
Okay, so it still shoots fire off the end of the tube, I
Yeah.
guess.
There's still
flash. So the white.
Okay, so
tube
what?
is
Okay, so what's the point of the PVC tubing if you're gonna have the flash suppressor on the weapon? Unless they're trying to create some sort of ricochet or something. What are they trying to do here? They definitely were trying to take this man's life, y'all. And they were trying to, I guess they were trying to figure out a way to keep the flash and the sound. But yet, what? They didn't think it would leave residue or anything? How would they think they were going to do this clean?
It's not a flash suppressor. It's not even a really good noise filter. It's just, I thought it was going to be a cool silencer and it wasn't.
Okay.
But all we
Yeah,
do
it's
with
a
our rifle
silencer
is
for
shoot
the
them for
gun.
fun and intensity. And if that's what my dad's in trouble for.
No. Like I said before, we don't know whether or not your dad's in trouble or not. We have
I'll give
concerns.
you a lie to that's all we do with our weapons is shoot them and for fun.
Oh,
We
come
shoot
on.
for sport. Do you have contact with your clients, or is all the contact go through your dad?
My dad.
I guess, what is your impression? Because you and your dad are partners in a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
What job is it that your understanding of what you and your dad are doing that you've been contracted to do?
We dig up dirt on this guy to make sure that he can't do anything to hurt the church. That's pretty much what
Wow.
we dig up dirt to use on him to get him to not hurt it, try to go against the church.
So when he tries, if he tries to hurt the church, do you then present him with this dirt, or does the
No, the client does.
Okay.
We get the information from the client. We write reports every day, send them to the client. The client then documents them
Wow.
and then goes with it from there. That's as far as our business in it goes. We don't know what they do with the information. We don't know where it goes, who gets it. We just know we do the report, we send it off. That's the end of our day.
So what kind of dirt?
Just what he's been doing,
Who he's talking to?
who he's talking to, who he's getting emails from, who he's chatting with on the phone, what he's talking about, stuff like that.
But
What?
specifically, if you're not just looking for.
We don't really get dirt. We get forewarning for the church.
Okay.
Forewarning. If we find out he's doing something he shouldn't be, we let them know. They find out.
What's an example of something you shouldn't be doing, I guess?
Trying to run David's name down. That's all David's
Yeah,
worried
here
about.
it
He doesn't
is.
want him to run his name down.
Talking badly about
Talking
him.
badly about him, writing books about him that are bad, putting his name out in the media with people that he doesn't want his name out with, stuff like that. Talking to people that are trying to run the church down.
So like media.
No, like other members that have left and want to bring the church down.
Wow.
I don't.
That's illegal.
So what is forewarning?
If he's talking to somebody that the client doesn't want him talking to,
Okay.
as in somebody that's defected from the church and is a threat to the church. If
I know, right? It's
our
Candace,
target
that client.
talks to somebody like that, we then tell the client.
Yep.
The client then tells the investigators around where the person he's talking
Y'all, all of that is illegal. He's not saying we're trying to do surveillance for an investigation for the purposes of building evidence for a lawsuit or to forward over to a prosecutor. He's saying we're just monitoring this guy to see what he says and does. And then we send it over to this David Miscavige who's throwing a temper tantrum like a petulant child because he just wants to know if his dad is saying something bad about him to hurt his feelings. Not because he's saying anything defamatory, not because he's putting out provable false statements or that he's out here potentially committing a crime. No, he just doesn't want his dad to say anything at all about him, because reasons. Even though David Miscavige could have just left his dad alone and let his dad live his life. And then David could have lived his life and kick rocks because he's a grown-ass man. But no, he wants to act like a petulant child. Don't say anything. Don't talk about the church. Like, you can stop that. This level of surveillance is highly illegal. Highly illegal. They're not even giving a reasonable justification, even from the stance of being a private investigator, to have this level of surveillance on this person. And they have all these weapons. The boy's sitting here lying about suppressors and PVC tubes. He's sitting here lying about the purposes to which they have these weapons, the ammunition that they have. And he's not even coherently expressing why they're doing surveillance. Plus, what is his credentials as a private investigator? These could just be two hired hitmen that aren't licensed or certified to do anything related to private investigators. Like a private investigator, their role and responsibility in what they do is very tailored and specific. They don't just you don't just walk around surveilling people or stalking people or putting trackers or monitors in people's homes or on their cars. You can't do that. Like, this is so crazy. They conduct research, they gather evidence, perform surveillance, but they can't put trackers on people. And you should be certified or licensed. And there needs to be a reason what you're doing this for. It cannot invade privacy and it cannot violate the law. What these idiots are doing is illegal. This is just stalking, and they have weapons, and they're crazy. This is how sorry, y'all, Kayla hit the nail with the hammer. This is what you see in cults across the board. Scientology being one of them. They will stalk, harass you, surveil you because you're saying words that hurt their feelings because they don't have a spine. And it's all about that ego and pride. That's what you're seeing with David Miscavige here. It's all about his ego and pride. Let your father live in peace. What do you mean? You're stalking this man for no reason. And you are willing to let him die from a heart attack. Yeah, it sounds like it, right, Cheryl? Hire for plausible deniability. Y'all, this is dangerous stuff. This is wiretap to the max. Yeah, exactly. Cheryl said any suppressive persons. Yeah. They go out. These people left the cult. And as opposed to them being left alone, he stalked these people by way of these two dumb PIs, where this 21-year-old keeps asking for his dad like he's a child. But then wants to lie about the use of weapons and suppressors. You don't need all of that if you're just doing research and gathering evidence. No, they were out there to do something nefarious. They're stalking. But cult members, this is what cults do, people. This is how cults act.
Talking to is, and they deal with the
I'm
members that have left and want to bring the church down.
Okay. I don't.
I'm sorry. So what is forewarning?
If he's talking to somebody that the client doesn't want him talking to,
Okay.
as in somebody that's defected from the church and is a threat to the church. If our target
Great.
talks to somebody like that, we then tell the client. The client then tells the investigators around where the person he's talking to is, and they deal with the investigators. Watch out for it there, and then somewhere in there, the client himself or an undercover agent that's been planted will try to stop what's going on between the two.
Part 2 coming soon. Oh, God, Jenna. Oh, man. Oh, Jenna, don't keep us waiting. Did she put up part 2? Oh, dear Lord, she gonna give this to us in parts, y'all. Oh, my God. Please tell me this is part 2. Okay, here it is, part 2. Okay. Y'all, let's get to part 2.
I'm Jenna Miscavige.
Oh, yeah, we're so there.
To follow my grandpa at all.
Okay. Let's go back.
I'm Jenna Miscavige. I was born and raised in Scientology. I left when I was 21 years old and wrote a book about it. My uncle, David Miscavige, is a leader of Scientology, and this is my YouTube channel. When my grandfather, Ron Miscavige, escaped from Scientology, he moved to West Allis, Wisconsin. My uncle, David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, hired 2 private investigators to follow my grandpa at all times. After following my grandpa for 18 months, the 2 PIs were arrested because the police suspected them of being hit.
Okay, so I want to thank you for one of y'all correcting me on this. These 2 PIs these 2 specific PIs followed her grandfather for 18 months. But David Miscavige had his father stalked and harassed and surveilled from the moment he left the cult until the day he passed. Is that correct? Am I saying that correctly? He never stopped having his father harassed and stalked. David Miscavige had his father stalked until the day he died. It's just that these specific 2 PIs stalked the dad for 18 months and were paid $10,000 a week. Thank you, Kyle. Okay. I want to make sure I got this correct. So we can understand how crazy David Miscavige and this code is.
Hitmen. This is the never before heard audio of the police interrogation.
Somewhere in there, the client himself or an undercover agent that's been planted will try to stop what's going on between the two.
Okay. So how does it play out where there's an intervention? So if you see that this person, the target, is doing something that the church has deemed adversarial or on the blacklist, how is he stopped?
We have inside people that are like friends with him and his little group, and then we have inside people with the other little group. They're acting like they hate the church too, and then they get the information and then they diffuse it they just diffuse it by like telling our target, well, you really don't want to get into that because that's you want to retire or stuff like that. They just our whole purpose is to keep our target from running the church down and keep him from telling. He's so close to our target that he knows more about our target than anybody else, and our target doesn't want that information getting out.
Okay.
So he wants to keep him happy and keep him away by himself, retired, keep him he gave him a bunch of money to come here and live.
Okay.
So that he could go off, retire, and just live his life out. He wants him to live his life out and just finish his life without running the church down anymore.
Okay.
So we're not, I know what y'all are getting at. Y'all are getting at that the church wants him hit. And that's not it at all.
Obviously, that's one of the things
that's what y'all are getting at. That's what y'all are thinking. I can tell by the questioning. I can deduce stuff.
A truck full of firearms does I guess, lead us in that direction yet.
Yes. That is our collection of it. We travel so much that in Florida, you can't get firearms anymore. It's so hard to find firearms that when we travel, we go to pawn shops and places like that, and we buy the 22 assault rifles in Florida. Those are, you won't find them. But in like Virginia, you can buy them at a pawn shop. You can buy them at like Bass Pro, stuff like that. So we buy them while we're out of state, and we just wait till we go back to Tennessee, take them to Tennessee, put them in our safe. And I guess my dad thought there was places to shoot out here because where we're staying in Janesville and Whitewater, there's a guy out there that he's friends with, has a shooting range out behind a cornfield. So he brought his gun up here to shoot out there, I guess.
That's the guy that owns some business in Whitewater.
Yeah. Let's talk about how you're able to listen to targets' phone calls.
If he's in a parking lot or something and he's on the phone, he always rolls his windows down because he doesn't like to run his car while he's sitting in a parking lot. So he'll roll his windows down, we'll pull up next to him, and we'll crack our windows so we can hear what he's saying. That's the only opportunities we get to hear what he's saying on the phone.
You're not able to listen in other ways?
No. We're not. It's
Hold on.
For us.
You pull up, okay, so you go outside. You talking on the phone in the car. It's not running, so it's not like you're talking through the Bluetooth. He just said they pull up next to him so they can hear what he's saying. That mean, you know how close you would have to be? So the dad knew these two were stalking him? He said, we'll just crack our window. We can hear right next to what he's saying. What do you mean? He doesn't like to run his car while he's sitting in a parking lot. So if we roll his windows down, we'll just go up next to him and we'll crack our window so we can hear what he's saying. How close do you have to be? That's so full of shit. Yeah, you don't understand how ridiculous that sounds. You have to be right next to him to hear him. He's not talking and it's not being amplified through the car speakers. He's not on a Bluetooth or anything like this. This is going back to 2011. He's not sitting there on the phone. You want to hear the conversation. But yet, the only way you mean to tell me is you already said you put surveillance or tracker on his car. Like we already read that information. We know there's a tracker on the car, but he's telling the cops like an idiot. We just pulled up next to him and we cracked our window. We heard everything he said. To whomever he was talking to, he wasn't running the car. I don't even know if like Bluetooth capabilities with that, in 2011. Yeah, they did have that. So you mean to tell me that if his car's not on, Bluetooth is not being amplified, you can't hear him throughout the car itself through the speakers in the car. You can just pull up next to this guy, crack your window, and hear his whole conversation. That's how stupid this kid is. That is the dumbest ever. They had wiretaps, and he's trying to dance around the topic and give this impression. No, we can just naturally hear him talking in the car with him having his windows rolled down, knowing that his son is crazy and he has people stalking him. Yeah, he's going to go to a parking lot, get on the phone. Y'all imagine this. This man knows that his son is the leader of a dumb cult that's out here stalking people for dumb reasons, not letting him live in peace. And he's just going to go to a parking lot, roll his windows down and talk to somebody on the phone. They're going to pull up next to him, crack their window, and be able to hear everything that's being said audibly within ear's reach without having his car bugged because reasons. That's what this kid is trying to tell these cops. Y'all see why these detectives walk around angry and mad as hell? Because they have to hear bullshit like this all day, every day. Yeah, this is unbelievable.
That's the only opportunities we get to hear what he's saying on the phone.
You're not able to listen in other ways?
No. We're not. It's not legal.
Ron knew, I'm sure he did.
How about emails? You've mentioned emails.
We go to the library, and if he's on the computer at the library, we'll look around it over his shoulder or something and see it.
This is so
Is
weird.
that easy?
It's that easy with him. We look over his shoulder, see who the email's going to, see what the subject of it is, and that's it.
Well,
Is that easy?
as I had asked your dad, if the client calls you, say right now, says, "Where is John?" You guys are supposed to be able to tell him. He's with the...
Not after 8 o'clock.
Really? You guys are off at 8?
We get off at 8 unless the target is still active.
Active?
If the target's still active at 8, we follow the target until they get home.
So
We start at 7 in the morning. If the target's not at home at 7 in the morning, target's lost for the day until the target gets home.
okay. So when he's with his wife, half his age, once they're kind of jammed up here, in Whitewater, when he leaves that house together or by himself, you guys obviously follow him wherever he goes, and you never lose sight of him, or is there another way that you know where he's?
Well, there's 2 of us, 2 or 3 of us usually. Right now, there's 2 of us. So losing sight of him is he drives like an old man. He's almost 80 years old. He doesn't do over 50 miles an hour. So keeping an eye on this guy is like it's nothing. We do stay right on.
GPS tracking also helps.
Yes, but we don't use GPS usually because it's so easy to track him. GPS tracking is legal as long as you put it on in a public place, as far as I know.
A lot of what we're doing is as you we've kind of given you the mental picture that we got.
I'm giving you the honest answers
Right.
because
I appreciate that.
because I know we're not doing nothing wrong, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to lie to you because
And it's going to look like you're
then it's gonna look like we're doing something wrong. Yes, I was scared because the suppressor and everything looks bad.
Well, you know what the suppressor is. It's not a suppressor, it's a silencer.
I thought it was a suppressor. A noise suppressor is what it's called usually, right? It just quiets it down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, one's a flame, one would be a flame
Flash
suppressor.
suppressor.
Flash suppressor stops the big
Yeah,
bang.
a suppressor is typically used to describe suppressing the flash.
So he lied about this tracker thing. He can't put a tracker on a car, whether the car is in the public view or not, unless he either has the owner's consent or he has a court order and they're working with the court. Otherwise, no, you can't. He says as long as you put it on a public or place. What? Wait, what? This kid is a dummy.
GPS tracking also helps.
Yes, but we don't use GPS usually because it's so easy to track.
Yeah, because we don't usually use it. So why put it on? If it's so easy, you don't need it, right? I want you all to understand how he's contradicting himself and trying to downplay the use of something that he thinks he legally has the right to use. You're not going to downplay it if you believe you have the right to use a GPS tracker. So why go through all this mama jumbo to try to downplay it? Private investigators do not have, unless they have a court order, and they're doing this on behalf of the court, they do not have the right to put a GPS tracker on your vehicle. I don't care if the vehicle is sitting out in the public view or in your driveway in your home, because your vehicle is your personal property. So they would need the owner of the vehicle's permission, or they would need a court order. You just cannot put a tracker on someone's car. It's their personal property. So what the hell is he talking? He's trying to downplay, but then turns around and says, yeah, I'm not doing anything illegal. But that's highly illegal. This is crazy. And they do, and it's so crazy. They break the law all the time. So the fact that he put a GPS tracker on his car will render this whole surveillance thing moot in the eye of the court, because he's already violated privacy laws and his privacy, putting that tracker on his car. He didn't have a court order, And the owner of the vehicle did not give them permission to put a tracker on his vehicle. That's the law, period. Federal law. You don't get around federal laws just because you're in a specific state. Federal laws are federal laws. That applies across all states. So no, he did not have the legal right to put a tracker on his car at all. That car is your personal property. That's why people can get charged for knocking your phone out your hand. Your phone's your personal property. It's no different than them putting their hands on you. So who the hell told him this? This is highly illegal. What's wrong with this? This kid is stupid. He's an idiot. And you have this dumb coat stalking people for no reason. This is why they get protested. Because they go out of their way to spend money on dumb things. $10,000 a week for 18 months, but they can't pay their employees more than $21 a week for working 110 hours. Or $51 or 50, 60 bucks. They got to work 110 hours just to get a little pocket change, some pocket change. It's slave wage. But they can shell out $10,000 a week for 18 months for these two to stalk him. It's disgusting.
GPS tracking is illegal.
It's illegal.
In public or place, as far as I know.
Okay. A lot of what we're doing is as you we've kind of given you the mental picture that we got.
I'm giving you all honest answers, right? Because
I appreciate that.
Because I know we're not doing nothing wrong, and
yeah, you are.
I'm not going to sit here and try to lie to you because
he lied 3 times.
Because then it's going to look like we're doing something wrong. Yes, I was scared because the suppressor and everything looks bad.
He lied about the PVC tube, the weapons, the suppressor, the gun in the car, the GPS tracking. You're literally lying to the police during an interrogation. What do you mean? Wow, this kid is an idiot.
Well, you know what the suppressor is. It's not a suppressor, it's a silencer.
I thought it was a suppressor. A noise suppressor is what it's called usually, right? It just quiets it out.
Oh, now he thinks he knows things.
Yeah, one's a flame, one would be a flame
flash
suppressor.
suppressor.
Flash suppressor stops the big bang.
A suppressor is typically used to describe suppressing the flash. A noise suppressor. So it's we're splitting hairs, but yeah, it's
getting an understanding of what exactly we're talking about. Sometimes Wisconsin language may differ from Arizona language, and water fountain, soda fountain, that kind of crap. But what we see initially is a guy with a ton of weapons and surveillance equipment in a car who's not cooperative. So we are left to deduce and prepare for worst case scenario, which is...
I'm sure the reason he wasn't cooperative in the first place is he didn't want to blow his car.
I know that now, yeah. Yeah, but I'm just talking
I've been
the original
I've
picture.
been put in handcuffs because I was sitting in front of a bank, and when they asked me what I was doing, I said, waiting on somebody. And they said, well, get out of the car, we're gonna arrest you.
good.
They said that I had been sitting there for too long and I was suspicious, and then finally the confidentiality agreement thing that I said when I got in here, I was completely under that. I thought that I wasn't supposed to tell anybody I was a private investigator. I thought I wasn't supposed to tell anybody I was on the job, nothing, so I didn't tell them.
Right.
And then my dad got there and told him, so I was like, oh.
Well, he's concerned about losing the job.
If we lose this job, we lose everything we have.
So that's obviously the concern he had at the time.
Yeah, if we lose this job, we lose our cars. We collect things. We collect. I have a
Get another job,
I have
idiot.
5 third-generation Camaros. I have a Corvette. I have 2 motorcycles. We have 2 houses.
This boy is worried about losing materialistic things, not his liberty and freedom, though, for illegally tracking and surveilling someone. Meanwhile, he keeps asking for his father and talking about an NDA, which would be moot and null and void when you're breaking the law, especially federal laws. Because you do not have the legal right to stalk and surveil someone with a GPS tracker. That's illegally wiretapping. And he's worried about a Camaro and a house. This man was not able to live in peace since he left a cult that his crazy ass son is the leader of. Until the day he died, he was followed and stalked and you're worried about a car and a house. I hope he's still in prison, getting his ass whooped.
We collect things. We like to have a bunch of stuff. And with our bills the way they are, if we lose this job, we lose everything. That's why we have guns, because we like to collect things. Once we get into something, it's like a hobby we start.
Well, what you do with your money is, that's up to you, right? Our concern is that we have a hitman stalking someone.
I understand that concern.
And that's kind of how our two heads came together. So now I guess the question is,
the gasoline. There's a gasoline.
Oh yes, that is for Velcro. Because we put Velcro all over our rental vehicles. When we pull the Velcro off, it leaves sticky shit all over the dash. Rental companies hate that.
Yeah.
We take a little rag, we put a little gasoline on it, we wipe it all off.
what do the rental companies do about it?
They just get pissed off because we have to leave all that sticky shit on the dash. We have so many phones and computers, we Velcro the dash to the center console. And I only know about that because my dad said that we were returning my rental last week, and he said, "Oh wait, you still filling up?" And he put it in a little apple juice bottle or orange juice bottle, and it's for wiping the gunk off the dash with the Velcro.
Why are there a bunch of license plates in the car?
Because they're switching up plates, y'all, so that they can easily get away from law enforcement. You can't make this up. PIs don't need to do that if they're doing it the right way, but they're not. These guys, like the cop said, he used the right terminology, hitmen. He said, my concern is that there are two hitmen out here stalking someone. They're hitmen. That's what they are. The police officer was absolutely correct. These two clowns are not licensed or certified to do anything. They are hired hitmen. Stalking and torturing this man as opposed to letting him live in peace and harmony on his own. And even if he knows that there's a chance I'm going to be followed and harassed, he still took the chance of that by leaving the dumb coat. David Miscavige has a problem, because he's a narcissist, with being rejected. With people leaving. With people saying, I'm walking away from this coat. And if you keep challenging the United States of America, they're going to send all of their armies coming for you. Air Force, Marines, Navy, Army, Specialized Forces. They do whatever, do what we need to do. You can't make this up. This is madness. This man could not live in peace. He had the right to live in peace and not have his free will affected. And this dumb ass kid is sitting here worried about a Camaro and some property. Wouldn't he? Okay, here's my thing. Wouldn't David Miscavige see that his two hired hitmen, who's been surveilling his own father, has now been arrested? Wouldn't he tie up loose ends? If you're going to go full-blown mafia, you might as well go all the way there, right? Wouldn't these two hired hitmen be loose ends for David Miscavige? Are they still alive? Is my question. Are they still alive?
Different states.
I guess those are for rentals.
Right. Collect those two. Why are they in there? Presumably, it's the front plate from rental cars that you guys use. The front plate always comes off, and when it gets returned, I'm just curious. I completely forgot to ask your dad this question. I'm going to have to, but why he's keeping them, I have no idea.
Either to collect them, or if we get target burns us, we throw another tag on until we get to a new spot, something like that. I don't know.
That would make more sense in surveillance.
And that's what you're going to do, hire some more.
He said that you and he both have Tauruses, 9mm Tauruses.
Tiffany has a Taurus right now.
Has a Taurus?
Has one of the Tauruses.
Do you know where?
Man.
How many Tauruses do you guys have in your collection?
He has, as far as I know, 2 9mm Tauruses right now.
He has, or you have one?
He has one, and Tiffany has one.
Do you have one?
I have a 3 Caltech.
Okay. He said the 2 Tauruses, one is yours, one is his.
Yes. But Tiffany has one because she didn't have anything.
So a Taurus is yours, or it isn't?
It is.
Okay. Where's your Taurus? Okay.
All this from
What's
two
in the
people.
council of your car right now?
It's a 380 Kel-Tec, little pocket gun. But I do have a concealed weapon.
From
Florida.
Okay. So you gave your Taurus to Tiffany, or he gave your Taurus to Tiffany?
He did.
All right.
We keep all of our stuff together.
Well, there's one in the car. We're trying to figure out which one it is. His or yours?
They're both in his name.
Okay.
But we keep all of our stuff together. Like, all the cars are in his name, but I call them mine. If it's something, we everything's ours.
I understand. Now, you have 3 brothers and sisters that live with their mothers, if I'm understanding correctly.
God, he had
Your
more
dad says
siblings.
he financially supports those kids.
Yes.
But you, obviously, you're an adult. Live with your father. I mean, you guys work together. You're on the road together all year round, or?
We do everything together almost all the time.
Okay.
My dad's like my best friend. I know everything about my dad. My dad knows everything about me.
That's what he said.
Because from the time I was born, my mom wasn't there really for me. So me and my dad have been as tight as you can get forever. I know everything. He knows everything I know.
Okay. Lost my line of questioning.
That's why I was so worked up when I got here. I've been driving around since I think 11:45 this morning.
Trying to figure out where he was.
Searching for him, worried that he got mugged, shot, killed, something. And he has this thing where sometimes it's happened to him twice in the past 4 or 5 years, where he just gets deathly ill within an hour.
What's that been about?
I have no idea. He was sitting we found him in his truck one day and he was balled up in a ball, couldn't move, paralyzed, just completely.
What did the doctors say it was?
They said he was just sick. They didn't know what it was. And then 2 days later, he was perfectly fine. That's why I was so worried, because I thought that maybe he was somewhere here in town and that had happened to him and he was going to die in his truck and nobody was going to know where he was.
And that's a big place to look.
I've been searching Milwaukee all day long.
Do you use that truck for surveillance too?
That's his surveillance truck.
Okay.
I have my own surveillance truck. I've driven his truck before, yes.
Okay. Why are the guns in there?
Because we don't leave them at the hotel. That's the stupidest thing you can do.
The stupidest thing you can do is lie to investors. Oh my God. The stupidest thing you can do is lie to cops like this when they've already got the evidence. They can get search warrants. Man, you can't make this up. Okay, he said he has siblings. That means the father is the worst father on earth because he has more children. Do they not think that this cult of Scientology will come after those two if they fail? Did they not anticipate that? This is Dwayne Powell, 43 at the time, and his 21-year-old son, Daniel Powell. And then Dwayne Powell has other children. So he didn't expect David Miscavige to come after his family if he failed or got caught. Because now you bring in more people into this. You got 2 hired hitmen that are sloppy as hell, that think they know the law, and they got caught. And now you have to figure out how to tie up loose ends. Are these 2 still alive is what I'm asking. I'm wondering if they're still alive now. Y'all, this is crazy. 2 hired hitmen from this cult, which is we read about this stuff, right? Well, cults hire hitmen because, people who want to leave the dumb cult and want to get away may know some things. Because Scientology is a cult. And they just scam people by taking money from them for these fake audits. But you got to think like, okay, if they're going to act like a criminal enterprise, then guess what? You have 2 loose ends. Because now you've brought them into this where they probably learned things along the way in their surveillance, in their illegal wiretapping. They probably came across information. Who knows? So now you have these 2 loose ends, these 2 idiots that got caught and arrested. And the 21-year-old is spilling the guts while he's lying in between it because he's scared. And let's not forget the other children that this dad has. And where the hell they live? That's a good question. Do they live in Florida? Y'all, this is crazy. The aliens of Scientology cured him. Hey, Mira, how you doing, honey? He's worked up because he is scared to death of David Miscavige. You know what's so crazy? David can't beat our armies. You know, we have trained military hitmen in our own military. What the hell? I don't understand how this cult is having this much influence in the United States. With all the trained we have in our weaponry, in our own military. But that shouldn't scare us at all. Oh, a cult leader who believes that aliens came in a volcano is mad and throwing a tantrum today. Oh no. This is madness. I'm wondering if if Dwayne S. Powell and Daniel Powell are still alive. This was back in 2013, you all. After 18 months of surveilling David Miscavige's father, Ron Miscavige Sr. You can't make this up.
If you leave something of value in a hotel, it will be gone when you get home and get back. Because even if you put the do not disturb sign on the door, they will go in there and search the room.
And you guys have noticed through his logs to
stay
not flea bag motels, but lower end.
How you doing?
Your expenses down.
Yes, we stay at lower end motels to keep our expenses down, and I've had stuff stolen, clothes. I've had a toothbrush stolen, my toothpaste stolen, I've dog toys stolen. So why would I want to leave a gun in the hotel room where it can get stolen, somebody can get killed with it, and I get blamed for it?
Those are good arguments. So the guns, how did they get up here this time? He said Tiffany brought some?
Tiffany brought a couple. She has our POV, and I don't know which one she brought him, but he was going to shoot him at the restaurant.
What?
It's a restaurant, store, field, farm. It's an awesome place.
How long have you guys been working this case, I guess, if you will?
I know we've been working for the church for almost 8 or 9 years now, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. I've been working for 5 as I used to write reports. I just got my intern license this year, so this is my first year working it.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since I started, I've been on this case. I know that I'm pretty sure we started on this case with these people 2 years ago, two and a half years ago.
And I just want to get some clarity on the exact mission. So how is it explained to you what you're supposed to do? You initially said, basically keep an eye on this guy, dig up dirt just to make sure he doesn't.
The whole thing is, he is his dad. The owner of Scientology is David Miscavige. His dad is Ron Miscavige. His dad used to be the music director of the church. His music got old, outdated. David said, well, go live your life. Get out of the church. Don't worry about it. Ron took that as, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. We don't want anything to do with you anymore. Leave. Well, from that day on, Ron has been writing books about how terrible David is. My son David is one of his books. He was writing another one. David paid him off to not finish that book. That's how he got the money to get here. David pretty much uses money and the people around him to stop him from doing anything he's doing against the church. But if David doesn't know that he's going to do something against the church, he can't do anything. David bought him a trumpet, like a little horn. It's $5,000 to pay him off or something, to get him to not talk bad about him.
How much do you know about the Church of Scientology?
I know what I need to know about it. I'm not into it.
So you're not a member. You probably know more about it than I do. Basic understanding of what they do, what they're about, and why David would be so afraid of John.
David probably has reason to be afraid. He's a terrible person.
Okay,
I think myself, I don't agree with anything the church does because I'm not a part of it. I don't know much about it. I don't want to know much about it. because I work for it, I don't want to know I'm doing something wrong.
We've heard about.
But you are doing something wrong.
Probably more than you guys have
This
heard
kid is so
about,
dumb, y'all. Now I'm gonna look up and see if these two still alive, because they know in the world. If he's so afraid of David Miscavige, why would you even go work for him? You don't want to know what's going on in Scientology, but you work for them and you took $10,000 a week from them to look after his own father for 18 months. Almost 2 years, 18 months. Now all of a sudden, I don't even want to know what's going on with him because I work for him. But how do you not know who you're working for? So you don't get to know your client at all. Especially when the client has you watching someone that was once upon a time in this cult. And it's the father of the cult leader, of the cult leader itself. What do you mean? What? So David Miscavige is just going to let these two just go out and this it. I mean, you know. This is the epitome of tying up loose ends with these two. Cause I don't understand. I'm not advocating for anybody to go after them. I'm just not understanding why. He acts as if he didn't know who he's working for. You didn't know that Scientology was a cult when you took the job? And that they have you surveilling somebody, putting trackers on his car? That's illegal. Illegal wiretapping. You're violating federal laws, privacy laws. Are you kidding me? You can't make this up. Now we gotta find out what's going on with this Dwayne and Daniel Powell. Because these two right here are something. This boy, this 21-year-old is something else. So they said they're from Florida because they were arrested in Wisconsin. In West Allis, Wisconsin. So they said they came in from Florida. And they don't know about Scientology, and they're in if they live in Clearwater, Florida, they would know about Scientology, right? I wonder where they charged or released. What happened? I got it. Now we got to look this up. I got to research this a little bit. Let this play. This is part 2, you all.
The girl from the King's she stood up and she wasn't doing anything wrong. She stood up one night at dinner and she said, "Well, where's your wife at?"
What are you doing?
And one of his right-hand men stood up and said, "You have no fucking right to ask where my wife is or where his wife is." What? And ever since then, they told her friends and her family that they could either deal with the church or they could deal with her. And everybody chose the church, so she left.
What year did his wife go missing?
2004. I don't know. I know what the news knows about that.
Okay. You don't know anything more?
Oh, hold on. Let me go back because now they're talking about the wife of David Miscavige, right? He said, "I don't agree with anything they do. David bought him a trumpet." What? Okay, let me go back.
Not talk bad about him.
How much do you know about the Church of Scientology?
I know what I need to know about it. I'm not into it.
So
he knows what he needs to know.
You probably know more about it than I do. Basic understanding of what they do, what they're about, and why David would be so afraid of John.
David probably has reason to be afraid. He's a terrible person.
Who?
Okay,
That's it.
No, David Miscavige is the demon. He's the cult leader that's having his father, that you said is 80-something years old, stalked by 2 hitmen. What are you talking about? Did I hear that wrong? Y'all, am I hearing that wrong? Is he saying that Ronald Sr. is the bad person or David is the bad person? What?
I think myself, I'm not into it.
so you're not a member. You probably know more about it than I do. Basic understanding of what they do, what they're about, and why David would be so afraid of
Well,
John?
David probably has reason to be afraid. He's a terrible person.
Yeah, Ron brought them in the coat.
I think myself, I don't agree with anything the church does because I'm not a part of it. I don't know much about it. I don't want to know much about it because I work for it. I don't want to know I'm doing something wrong.
We've heard about,
Oh my God.
probably more details than we've heard about,
The girl from the King of Queens lady, she stood up and she wasn't doing anything wrong. She stood up one night at dinner and she said, well, where's your wife at? And one of his right-hand men stood up and said, you have no fucking right to ask where my wife is or where his wife is. And ever since then, they told her friends and her family that they could either deal with the church or they could deal with her. And everybody chose the church, so she left.
Okay, now actually, he was just referring to Leah Remini when she asked him about where David Miscavige's wife is.
What year did his wife go missing?
2004. I don't know. I know what the news knows about that.
Okay. You don't know anything more than what the media already knows.
I'm not playing dumb to David. I actually am dumb to David. He said he's a terrible person. We talking, I mean, is he?
Well, I don't know if he's a murderer. I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him really. I just know that nobody likes him. That's why he's doing so much to keep his name out of the dirt.
Hey, Albert. Yes,
When he took office, when he took command of the church, he fired all the people that, or he started doing things that nobody liked. Everybody started leaving. He started making enemies, and that's what this is all about. He's got to try to keep his enemies from ganging up together. He wants to know when they do get together, and that's what we do. We're on his dad.
Mm-hmm.
There's other investigators on it. There's different teams on different groups of people. We are one of the top teams because we are.
Y'all see that? There are different groups. I want y'all to see this. He just said there are different groups of people. There are different groups of teams on different groups of people. He said, I'm not playing dumb to David. This is the investigator. These two hired hitmen were arrested back in 2013, Albert. But the tapes, the recordings of this interrogation, Jenna Miscavige put out within the last good week or so. So this is my first time hearing this. And I know A.A. Ron covered it on his channel, Growing Up Scientology is his YouTube channel. He covered it, I think last week? So we're watching this. Oh my goodness. The fact that these cops called these two hired hitmen, called them hitmen, this is something else.
You don't know anything more than what the media already knows.
I'm not playing dumb to David. I actually am dumb to David. He said he's a terrible person. We talking, I mean, is he?
Well, I don't know if he's a murderer. I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him really. I just know that nobody likes him. That's why he's doing so much to keep his name out of the dirt. When he took office, when he took command of the church, he fired all the people that, or he started doing things that nobody liked. Everybody started leaving. He started making enemies, and that's what this is all about. He's got to try to keep his enemies from ganging up together. He wants to know when they do get together, and that's what we do. We're on his dad.
Mm-hmm.
There's other investigators on it.
There's
different teams on different groups of people. We are one of the top teams because we are the highest priority with his dad. His dad is gonna,
like Kyla said, that everybody. Kyla said everybody gets stalked or surveilled or followed. Different groups of teams on different groups of people. So you can't live in peace at all. Because this dumb coat is going to stalk the hell out of you for no reason. Because they don't like you saying mean words. You can't make this up.
knows the most about him, try to get to everybody else. So when he starts talking to a new person, we let David know. David then lets the other investigators know. The investigators then let their undercover people know, and they try to defuse it, like I said. It's just a big chain of command.
Very
It goes in a big
complex.
circle, and
No, I don't know anything about David's wife being missing.
I guess she's been missing for like 6 years or 7 years or something like that. Nobody's seen her. Nobody's seen her in public. Nobody's seen her anywhere.
None of these surveillance teams are on her.
Well, we're getting paid not to worry about him. We don't go after him. He pays us to go after people he wants us to.
No, I got that. Right. No, your assignment is his dad.
Where do you think the funding comes from? I mean,
Probably
$10,000.
Tom Cruise.
Oh, probably Tom.
I'm Jenna.
Oh, what did I just hear? Please tell me this is part 3. Oh, yeah, it's part 3. He just said Tom Cruise. Did y'all hear that? They need to lock his ass up. Yo, Tom Cruise is funding Scientology on his own. Why is it that Tom Cruise just won't become the new cult leader? You all really think, let me ask y'all this. If Tom Cruise wanted to vie for the champion's belt against David Miscavige, you really think David Miscavige is going to let Tom Cruise take over Scientology? Because I'm just curious to know this. Like, if Tom Cruise, he's so devoted into this, right? If they had to pick a new leader, would David Miscavige be cool with Tom Cruise taking over? I don't think David Miscavige would put his ego and pride down, though. If it had to come down to it. I get it, they're best friends. But I'm just saying, if there's a situation where we're picking one or the other to be the new leader, and let's say Tom Cruise is like, hey, I'm all for it if you all pick me. You really think David Miscavige is going to let that happen? I'm just curious to know. I'm just curious to know what y'all think about that. Like the aspect of Tom Cruise versus David Miscavige. Because if he is funding all these hired hitmen and they're buying weapons and illegally wiretapping cars and all this stuff, that's a criminal enterprise. That's RICO charges. That's crazy. Tom Cruise has more power and money. Trish Duggan is their new cash cow. Tom is like Davy's twin. That's why I'm wondering if it came down to it. Because neither of them are alike, from my understanding and what we've researched and watched and witnessed so far. Neither of them are alike. But if it came down to a Tom Cruise versus David Miscavige to be the new leader of this cult of Scientology, what do you all think David Miscavige would be willing to do to get rid of Tom Cruise? Because David Miscavige is a narcissist. He's not going to let anybody just leave him in the kill box, so to speak. He's not going to have this stuff try to connect back to him. He doesn't fund his own hired hitmen. He's not paying these people out of his pocket. He's getting that money from somewhere else, and he's going to want to say that if he ever gets caught or questioned. I'm just wondering, what would David Miscavige be willing to do if he were ever confronted with these RICO charges? Where you're hiring hitmen? And this guy just said Tom Cruise. Because we're listening to one of the hired hitmen say probably Tom Cruise is funding this. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Yeah, this is and this is the most that I've heard David Miscavige and anything dealing with Scientology pay anybody, because they don't pay their own people anything. They're like slaves. I mean, they're out there doing almost free labor. But $10,000 a week for 18 months, and had they not been arrested, would have gone on longer. They could have probably did this until the day the father passed. Had they not got caught and got arrested. But this kid just said Tom Cruise is funding this. Y'all, this is crazy. He's a hitman. The police described him as hitman. He said, I'm concerned about two hitmen surveilling somebody or following somebody. He called them hitmen. He didn't call them PIs. The police officer called them hit. The detective that they're speaking with in this interview called them hitmen. And that's what it sounds like they are, because they can't even state clearly what they're supposed to be gathering, what information or evidence they're supposed to be collecting. So he called them hitmen. They found weapons, silencers, suppressors, PVC tubes. I mean, all kinds of, ammunition, all kinds of things between the car and I think what was in the hotel, in their vehicles, in their trucks. They both got their own trucks. The kid tried to lie about a weapon in the car, but then he turned around and said it was a 380 in the center console. I mean, it's mind-numbing how bad this kid was lying. At the time he was arrested, he was 21 years old. And the police called him a hitman. Y'all, this is so crazy. Oh my God. Here's part 3, you all. It's Tom Cruise funding Scientology Black Ops. Oh my goodness. We have armies. We don't have to let this cult build up a Black Ops.
I'm Jenna Miscavige. I was born and raised in Scientology. I left when I was 21 years old and wrote a book about it. My uncle, David Miscavige, is a leader of Scientology, and this is my YouTube channel. When my grandfather, Ron Miscavige, escaped from Scientology, he moved to West Allis, Wisconsin.
Hold on. This is part 2. Hold on. Let's go to this. Hopefully they have a part 3 happening. That's part 2. I bet. That hitman named Tom Cruise. Maybe this is Tom.
I'm Jenna Miscavige. I was born and raised in Scientology. I left when I was 21 years old and wrote a book about it. My uncle, David Miscavige, is a leader of Scientology, and this is my YouTube channel. When my grandfather, Ron Miscavige, escaped from Scientology, he moved to West Allis, Wisconsin.
Okay, so this is part 3, you all. We left off at part 2 of the interrogation where the hitman named Tom Cruise as a possible sponsor funding this thing. All right.
My uncle, David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, hired 2 private investigators to follow my grandpa at all times. After following my grandpa for 18 months, the 2 PIs were arrested because the police suspected them of being hitmen. This is the never-before-heard audio of the police interrogation.
Your assignment is his dad.
Where do you think the funding comes from? I mean,
Probably Tom Cruise.
That's not you just
you laugh, but
I'm being serious. That's probably where it comes from. All these famous people that they've got in the church are, Tom Cruise is so high in the church, he's such a high, they call it a Thetan level or something like that. It means you're higher up in the church. He's so high because he's so rich, he funds the church with anything they need. So he's pretty much funding all of this. We make jokes all the time. When Tom Cruise's last movie came out, it was a terrible movie.
But you're getting a raise.
But we were going around telling everybody how
Tom Cruise is probably funding all of this. This is what this hitman is saying here. Because I haven't seen, he hadn't said anything about a license or certificate to be a PI.
Anything they need. So he's pretty much funding all of this.
Y'all see this?
We make jokes all the time. When Tom Cruise's last movie came out, it was a terrible movie.
But you're getting a raise.
But we were going around telling everybody how awesome the movie was. Go see the movie so Tom Cruise can get paid and we get paid.
With your knowledge of David, or not your knowledge, what you do know about David.
Hey, Angie, it's okay.
My question is this. Either wittingly or unwittingly, what do you think would happen if his dad did something that just blew David out of the water?
I can tell you right now, we got a call from David Miscavige last week. Because my dad made a comment. Because I told my dad, I said, Senior looks like he's having heart problems. because he was hunched over and he was grabbing his chest and he was grabbing his back. And I made a comment to my dad. I said, he looks like he's having heart problems. My dad then relayed that message to his boss, which is, I don't know, Greg or somebody.
Yeah.
And Greg then relayed that message to Ron. Ron then called my dad and said, if he dies, he dies. Don't intervene.
And Ron is the attorney.
God.
Or not Ron, not Ron, David.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He said this is about his own father. That's how evil David Miscavige is. And he's worried about somebody saying mean words to him when he's a demon. He's a demon. But he's worried about somebody saying mean words to him.
David Miscavige, because my dad made a comment. Because I told my dad, I said, Senior looks like he's having heart problems. Because he was hunched over and he was grabbing his chest and he was grabbing his back.
Oh my
and
God.
I made a comment to my dad. I said, he looks like he's having heart problems. My dad then relayed that message to his boss, which is, I don't know, Greg or somebody.
Yeah.
And Greg then relayed that message to Ron. Ron then called my dad and said, if he dies, he dies. Don't intervene.
If he dies, he dies. Don't intervene. And this is David Miscavige's own father. You can't, man. I'm still mourning the loss of my dad from 2023 from cancer. And this piece of shit, David Miscavige, said, if he dies, he dies. You know how many kids out here on earth wish they had a father in their life? And he's sitting here saying, if his dad dies, he dies. Then the Bible say to honor thy mother and thy father. This is so evil and so vile and despicable. But he's worried about mean words. He's a demon, a soulless demon. I mean, why does he get offended by that? He doesn't even believe in God or anything. So what is he getting offended by? He has no soul. Why feel, any type of way when someone calls you an idiot or a jackass or a demon or evil or soulless miscreant? Why feel anything if you don't believe in any of this stuff? Then why feel anything, David Miscavige? You shouldn't care. If you're not gonna have a soul, then be soulless. It's the narcissism for me. That's disgusting.
And Ron is the attorney.
Don't intervene.
Or not Ron, not Ron. David called my dad and said, if he dies, he dies. Don't intervene. My dad told me the other day, he says, I don't care what David says. If you see that old man hit the ground and start grabbing his chest, you call 911. He said, if he hits the ground and starts grabbing his chest, call 911, but don't go help, because if they get pictures of us helping, we can get sued because our client told us not to do anything.
So
God.
There was a mandate from David not to
intervene. But
not to call 911, not to.
He just said, don't go intervene with it. Let it happen. If it's time, it's his time. But my dad, I saw that as a complete. That's why I say he's a terrible person. Because I don't think if somebody called me and told me my dad is having chest problems, I would be on the next plane out to where he's at to see him.
Mm-hmm.
But David comes over the phone and says, oh, well, don't intervene. My dad got off the phone. He goes, I just got a call from David Miscavige, and he said, don't intervene if he starts having a heart attack. And then his next statement was.
And this is what I mean, Kylie, is if they don't care about, they don't care about an afterlife. They don't believe in it. They just believe you live 1,000 lifetimes so you can give them 1,000 years and sign your soul over. They don't believe in any of that. They just believe you could just reborn. So why have his father surveilled and stalked by hitmen if you don't believe in family, if you don't believe in family ties, if you don't believe in any afterlife, you just believe he's going to come back as a baby somewhere, somehow. Then they treat babies like they're adults and, but they don't want people to leave a cult. But yet, you don't somehow have the cognitive ability to just make a decision to say, I want to be out this dumb cult. But somehow you're not smart enough to just, let people be. He doesn't want to believe in anything about an afterlife or family ties, but yet he has his own father surveilled for what? In his world, this stuff might as well not even be real. This is crazy. And he's suspecting these two, like, don't call 911 either. Just let him have a heart attack and die, because reasons. Even though I'm paying you $10,000 a week to stalk him and put GPS trackers on his vehicle. But yeah, he doesn't believe that family ties exist. So why believe this is his father? It's the hypocrisy for me. So why not leave the man alone and let him live in peace? You don't believe in family ties, so why even go around telling people you have a dad? It's oh my God. Oh, David Miscavige is such a narcissistic demon. And if he doesn't believe in, any other religion, then he shouldn't care about anybody calling him a demon.
I want you to call 911.
Oh,
don't
my
go
goodness.
over there because I don't want people getting pictures of you trying to help them.
Well,
how many times have either you or your dad received a call from David?
That was it. That was the only call because my dad thought it was weird because he never talked to David. None of the investigators have ever talked to David. And David called my dad from his boss's phone. That's why I know. That's why
and they
I know
already
for a fact
lose
that my dad's
supporters
not
in Scientology
doing what y'all think he's doing because his character came out when David told him that. He said, "I don't care what David said. Call 911."
do you think, though, that if David decided it was time that he wanted his father to die, do you put it past him to send someone to facilitate that?
I don't think he's so old. His dad is so old that I don't think David would do that because his dad doesn't have probably more than a year to 2 years to live.
Look at the amount of money he's spending to keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes a difference? Talking just for you guys, you and your dad, what, $250,000 a year?
Yeah. I mean, he would have to call somebody else. I can tell you that right now. But I don't know David. But from the money he's paying to have his dad watched, I don't think he wants him to be dead. But if he was to die, I think that wouldn't hurt David's feelings. If you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I do.
I'm not saying David wants him dead. I'm saying if he was to die, David probably wouldn't bat an eye.
Let's take do you need a bathroom break or one soda?
Right.
Let's
I
take
want
a
to
minute.
see my dad.
Absolutely, that's what I want to talk to the investigators about. Let's see what more we need to talk about tonight. And
Okay.
if you want to hang tight here.
You've had a long day too.
Okay. Because obviously we might have to get a hold of you guys in the future. They're going to come in here. These guys are running the show. I'm helping out with it. But,
We're really not here to do anything wrong.
can you give me, I'm just kind of confused again on how this goes. Like, you guys to, who does it go to then?
We're contracted.
Like, how about go downwards? David? Yep.
I don't know his name, but there's
Attorney?
another guy. There's an attorney or something,
You don't know his name?
and then there's my dad's boss, which is Neil.
What about a Terry Rothler?
Yes,
Who's that?
that is another private investigating.
Agency?
He's a private investigator that contracts us for the church. That is Terry
Okay.
Rothler.
So Terry Rothler works for the church.
He's another private investigator that the church hired. Terry then hires all the different
So you
investigators.
guys got hired by Terry.
Yes.
Okay.
It goes
And then-
David,
Yeah.
and then it goes David's office, which is I don't know their names, but there's two people between David
Okay.
and then there's Terry.
So David,
David, his accountant or his
So I gotta go back right quick because I think I misheard a number. Did he say that they are getting a $250,000 or $750,000? Because that's a lot of money.
I have to call somebody else. I can tell you that right now, but I don't know David. But from the money he's paying to have his dad watched, I don't think he wants him to be dead. But if he was to die, I think that wouldn't hurt David's feelings.
Ugh.
If you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I do.
I'm not saying David wants him dead. I'm saying if he was to die, David probably wouldn't bad time.
Let's take
Wow.
do you need a bathroom break or one soda?
Right.
Let's
I
take
want
a
to
minute.
see my dad.
Absolutely, that's what I want to talk to the investigators about. Let's see what more we need to talk about tonight. And
Okay.
Want to hang back here?
You've had a long day too.
Okay. Because obviously we might have to get a hold of you guys in the future. They're gonna come in here. These guys are running the show. I'm helping out with it, but so.
We're
Yeah.
really not here to do anything wrong.
Can you give me? I'm just kind of confused again on how this goes. Like you guys to, who does it go to then?
We're contracted.
Like how about go downwards? David. Yep.
I don't know his name, but there's another guy. There's an attorney or something.
You don't know his name?
And then there's my dad's boss, which is Neil.
What about a Terry Roffler?
Yes.
Who's that?
That is another private investigating
agency.
He's a private investigator that contracts us for the church. That is Terry Roffler.
So Terry Roffler works for the church.
He's another private investigator that the church hired. Terry then hires all the different
So you guys
investigators.
got hired by Terry.
Yes.
Okay.
It goes David,
Yeah.
and then it goes David's office, which is I don't know their names, but there's two people between David
Okay.
and then there's Terry.
So David,
his accountant or his
attorney?
No, his attorney.
Yeah. And then
Terry.
Yeah.
And then all the other investigators, which is my dad and then me. And
I just was kind of I was trying to keep that track, and I was letting them do it.
we've only talked to David one time.
David, attorneys, or his attorney, I should say, but you don't know his name.
It's their.
So the attorneys hired someone to go out and hire all these hitmen that they want to label as private investigators. But yet the attorneys are going to pretend like they don't know that these hitmen are being putting trackers and things on people's cars illegally because they're violating federal laws, and that they're being told not to intervene if they see someone in distress and need medical services, because you can't be charged with that. You stood there, you let somebody just have a heart attack, you didn't call 911, and you saw everything that happened. And they don't seem to be very smart. So they got all these laptops, phones, all these things that could easily track them and end up being arrested, where they basically just told on themselves and said flat out, if we see this man have a heart attack, we're told not to intervene. So we're supposed to just stand there and let him die. And the attorneys think they're going to be able to defend that. Oh my God.
His attorney and then his
This is nuts.
What is it called? The person sits in front desk.
Ken Moxon is their attorney. He's an idiot. He should be disbarred.
His secretary.
So is attorney and secretary on the same level?
Yes.
Okay. So his attorney / secretary, and then Terry.
So
basically, David contacts his attorney /
secretary, and then they then find
Terry,
a good private investigating agency.
Terry, and then Terry contracts out to. So Terry must be a pretty big.
Terry is
a big name investigator.
He's
private.
Huge. He gets paid
if
for
the
doing
their certificates are expired, or their license, the PR licenses are expired, they shouldn't be doing any of this, and they can't be doing this in another state. They have to be licensed in the state that they're so-called doing this PR work, because there are certain laws or rules that you have to follow that may vary from state to state. So if their licenses expired in Florida, they shouldn't have been hired by anything in Florida, and they certainly should not be crossing state lines. God, this is something else. Kim Oxford's daughter. What? So the attorney's daughter. I just have to leave the code. Still practicing law. He should be disbarred. What is the attorney general doing? They're letting a cult run rampant in their state. Like some cowards. Like he couldn't just call military backup if he needed. Because at this point, this seems like what we're gonna have to do.
He gets paid probably twice what
This
we
is
get paid
crazy.
a year for doing nothing.
So you guys get paid pretty well. What do you
Oh,
do
my
outside?
God.
You rent a car?
Yeah, my dog's in my car too.
Pitbull.
Yes.
Wounded.
Huh?
Wounded or not wounded, but handicapped. Is that accurate or no? That's
He's
his dad said kind of one was sick and one was.
Oh no, that's
lives.
his.
Oh, okay.
He has two pit bulls, or his girlfriend has two pit bulls.
Okay.
I have one that's a puppy,
Okay.
and one of her pit bulls has bad hips. She has hip dysplasia, which she can't move her back legs. She walks around on her legs.
It sounds like you've been doing this for about 2 years then.
I've been in the company for six years now.
But doing
Yeah,
this
Mom.
case
I've been
work-
doing this. I myself have been doing this for about a year, about eight to 12 months
with your dad
Oh, wow.
on this case.
on the road on the case.
It sounded like you guys traveled to several different states,
Mhm.
according to what your dad was saying. I mean,
Wow.
I thought he was just talking 2 or 3, but it sounds like
No, we've been to
California, Virginia,
California,
here,
Virginia, West Virginia,
Indiana,
here.
Illinois. Yeah. It sounds like it went from like just recently California to Virginia to here now.
Yeah, we don't want to lose this job. I mean,
Well, yeah, and that's not our thing. Is here is to
if,
not.
if this
we
gets
don't-
out that we told
We
y'all
don't
anything
go.
like this,
I know. We get it, but you got to understand too that we have our job
yeah, if
too.
we were to look at you like I did
It's-
earlier and say confidentiality, can't tell you anything, we'd go to jail.
Well, yeah, we would. That's kind of the whole reason why you guys are kind of in this, because I was the one who stopped your dad, along with Detective Pye, who's sitting here, and it was just a simple call. Somebody just called and said, "Hey, this guy's suspicious," and saw him go up to a door, and hey, what's going on, man? Who are you? Can I just see your ID? And it didn't go well from there. And we have other factors that we take into that. Why I want that identification.
Y'all tase him.
No.
I was just wondering what you meant by it didn't go well from there.
Oh no, you got arrested.
Yo.
I mean, it's not.
I was just wondering if you meant like you just know you can't see my ID, you have no right, or started fighting with you.
There was a little tenseness on his part, I'll say, where I thought he was going to, but he didn't, which I'm glad of. I mean, I don't want to. I don't like fighting with people. But that's the whole thing. It's like, I guess cooperation goes a long way with this. And I know you guys have your confidentiality, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all we're looking for is cooperation. Just hand over the ID and, okay, so what are you here for?
Well, oftentimes when you hand over the ID on the scene right there,
Mhm.
it's the case where the person that calls is the person you don't want to know who you are.
Wow.
And you never know if you're going to get a police officer that's going to cooperate with the private investigator, or the police officer that's going to walk over there and say, he's a private investigator, his name is this, he works for this company. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's the case.
Yeah,
That's where
I guess no. I see your point on it. Especially, I understand you
Yeah,
guys
that's
are really
on the line.
confidentiality, but
this is such a high priority.
But at the same time, it's like
It's not a high
it's all
priority
different ways.
case.
Hey, I mean, really,
It's the biggest oxymoron and contradiction to life itself. If you don't believe that family ties exist in your cult, then why are you spending all this money to have what everyone knows to be your father's surveil? If you don't believe in family ties, then you technically should be walking the earth saying, I have no father, right? Why worry about where he's living, what he's doing? If people should be watching, surveilling him, having him wiretapped, having his card bugged, why do any of that if you don't even believe in the aspect of family relationships? Y'all, that's so crazy. Oh, Miss Coco, happy birthday. Oh, thank you for hopping on. Happy birthday to you. We got to do the birthday song at the end, and hopefully you can catch it on the replay. Happy birthday to you, honey. Enjoy your day. Yeah, shout out to Miss Coco. It's her birthday today. This is so cool. Oh, thank you so much. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I always said that they set that up. Yeah. It's definitely a setup. How many people want to get away but die of unnatural causes? Child, in a cult, think about it like this. Jim Jones didn't let anybody get away. They got away because they were able to hide and hop on a plane and take off real quick. He didn't want anybody to get away. And how many people lost their lives in that cult? Children and babies included. He didn't even want them to just let me let them go back to the States and then no, he wanted to take everybody in the cult with him. That's the narcissism of it all. And he didn't even go out the way that everybody else went. He chose to take the coward way out. Some of these people died agonizing deaths. It was agonizing and painful for them. Now he got a quick pop to the head, back of the head type thing. That's they couldn't even face it. That goes to show how narcissistic these cult leaders are, where they don't want people out of the cult because of reasons. But yet this dumb demon David Miscavige doesn't believe in family ties, and yet he spends all this money to have what's known to be his father stalked and harassed until the day he died. He could have just, hey, I don't have a dad, I don't know who this guy is, and I'm gonna keep living. When he's losing cult members either way, because people get tired of a cult. It's a cult. And he can't even be consistent with whatever he believes when it comes to family. It's oh my goodness, this is so crazy. This is so crazy. Shell says Elron's own son was sent to RPF, child's prison by his dad, and Mary Sue went to real prison for Elron. Oh my God. Oh, you're welcome, Miss Kogo. And happy birthday to you again. Kyla says Lisa McPherson. McPherson? Who is Lisa McPherson? Is that the daughter's name of Moxon, the attorney? This is the same attorney that was representing Danny Masterson in his trial. Oh, man, that dude is so disgusting. Wow. She threw herself into a power plant station. Oh my good grief. Sue was his wife. Lisa was David Miscavige was responsible for Lisa's death. That's the attorney daughter. Man, this is crazy. Yeah, I'm sure he did. If she wanted to leave the cult, he probably told her the only way you're gonna leave is you're gonna have to jump into a power plant station. Like, okay, man, this is so demonic. You said no? Okay. So Sue is L. Ron Hubbard's wife. Who is Lisa McPherson? Y'all, we only got a few minutes left on this. And I got an article about this interview here. Because, of course, the David Miscavige tried to lie about this. Like he had no idea this happened.
Just gonna walk over there and say, he's a private investigator, his name is this, he works for this company. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's the case.
Yeah,
That's where
I guess no. I see your point on it. Especially, I understand you guys are really need confidentiality, but
this is such a high priority.
But at the same time, it's like
No, it's not.
Stop. It really could have. I mean, I think he would have been on his way within 2 minutes. I would have ran his name through Florida, and we would have just seen where they would have came back, no warrants. And probably would have been like, well, sir, have a nice day.
But you see what I'm talking about now when I explain it like that.
I do, because yes, you could be, you never know.
You never know what cop you're going to get here.
Or you don't know
who
goes
over there and tells them what you're doing.
Yes,
who you are.
I agree. That's what he did.
Y'all, that is the end.
Okay.
That was the end of part 3. This is her relationship, y'all. I don't want to know about that girl. Is there a part 4? That was the end of part 3. Then she goes into her relationship. I think that's it. Oh my God. Is that all of it? Oh man. Y'all, that is something else. That is something else. Okay, hold on. Go back. Go back. All right. So here is an article on this interview, the interrogation. This is where, okay, Scientology attorney says church hired private investigators to trail David Miscavige's father after he left the church for his own safety because he didn't need that. Um, so the father came out about this back in July 2013. Authorities in West Allis, Wisconsin, questioned Dwayne Powell and his son Daniel after following up on a call about a man acting suspiciously in the neighborhood where Ron Miscavige was living with his wife. Dwayne Powell told police he was a PI working with his son, and a search of his rented SUV revealed a cache of handguns, rifles, 2,000 rounds of ammunition, a stun gun, a GPS tracking device, a high zoom camera, a satellite computer, a bag of license plates for 5 different states. 5 different states. What's so legal about that? That's highly illegal. And what police said appeared to be a rifle silencing device, according to the police report. Y'all, there's nothing legal about any of this. Nothing legal about this at all. All this weapon, different license plates. It sounds like he's a hitman, doesn't it? Ron Miscavige tells ABC News 2020 in an exclusive interview airing. This was back in 2016. That's a hired hitman. That's what the police called him too. According to the police report, Dwayne Powell stated that he was hired by the CA-based Church of Scientology to conduct full-time surveillance of Ronald Miscavige. The report said, adding that Powell said he was being paid by attorneys for the church and that the main client is a David Miscavige. Daniel Powell also told authorities in a tape-recorded interview about an incident involving his father, Dwayne Powell, observing Ron Miscavige and believing the man to be having a heart attack. According to the police report, Daniel Powell said his father called and reported it. A couple minutes later, his dad told him that David Miscavige called him directly and told him not to intervene and let Ron die if it was his time. The police report said, how did we miss all of this? This is crazy. Ugh, my good grief. An attorney for Scientology confirmed in an interview with ABC News that the church did hire private investigators to track Ron Miscavige after he left the church in 2012, but that David Miscavige had nothing to do with them and never spoke to them, which, of course, the attorney is going to try to take up for him because, he's an idiot. There wasn't any reason to tell him, David Miscavige, about the investigators. Monique Yingling says they, the church's attorneys, decided that the private investigators were following Ron, first of all, for his own well being and his own safety. He didn't need that. He wanted to be left alone. They were also concerned that he might somehow, because he was an elderly man with David's name, become the pawn of some of the anti Scientologists out there. No, he wasn't. That man could go out, he spoke on his own to ABC. Don't worry about any of that. He just want to be left alone. Lawyers use private investigators all the time for, varieties of reasons, and it's just no big deal, she added. that's her official statement as an attorney, because or whoever this Yingling is. Yingling also tells ABC News that what Daniel Powell told police regarding David Miscavige and the heart attack incident was incorrect. It's not true, and Dwayne Powell has said that it's not true. Yingling tells 2020. The outlet also reports the church produced a signed statement from Dwayne Powell that says he never spoke to David Miscavige and that both the police and his son Daniel were incorrect. I never met him. I never received any instruction or directions from him directly or indirectly. David Miscavige never was my client. The statement made in a West Allis police report that I received a call from a man who identified himself as David Miscavige is not correct. I did not make such a statement to police. However, the West Allis is it Alice? West Allis Police Department tells ABC News in a statement that it stands by its report. We just heard the recording. Ugh, there is no confusion in the statements that were made by Dwayne and Daniel Powell. Per the police statement, Dwayne and Daniel Powell were interviewed independently of one another, and their statements corroborated one another. The declaration of Dwayne Powell, dated August 7, 2015, his signed statement to Scientology directly contradicts the statements which Dwayne Powell made to members of the West Allis Police Department in July of 2013. Because of course it does. Y'all, so Scientology is going to continue to lie like hell because that's what they do. Oh, my God. Y'all, you can't make this up. Mike Brown's mom, Rosie, was rescued by a military son. Fascinating story. Man, it's so much. Y'all, when I say this goes deep with Scientology, the rabbit hole with this cult goes deep. We're going to continue to explore. We have more information to look up. Aaron did a video on how Scientology trains kids to be these counselors or auditors, as they term it. So we're going to be taking a look into that next week, plus his video on his Q&A that he did from his court hearing. And I will look into some of the information about the young lady you all said, Lisa McPherson. Oh my God, man. They're following this. They don't believe in family, but yeah, he following his dad and stalking his dad. Like, you can't make this up. So we have a lot to get into. We're going to continue to dive into it. We are here for it. But as always, I want to end this segment on the birthday song. Shout out to Miss Kogo. Happy birthday to you. Since it's Sunday, we're going to go ahead and play this and end it out. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This has been something else. When I say mind-boggling, why did I never know this? But see, that's what we're doing. We're learning. We're coming across information, and some of these stories probably going to start intertwining and connecting together. That's the beauty of the research, and you all sending me the links and countless material and information about what's going on. So we're going to continue to dive into it on Scientology Sundays. Email me your links to your videos and stuff, and we will. I'm trying my best not to have you all too long today because tomorrow's a school day and everything, but we're going to get at it next week. We have so much to go over. So, to Miss Kogo, happy birthday to you. We're going to end this out on the birthday song of the LLC. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. And we have another live that I'm going to do. And then, of course, another impromptu on Candice. So make sure you guys tune into that if you can. And until the next one, let's get into this, you all.
Show me the altos. Happy birthday.